I am Priyanka Joshi, and I am a success and performance coach for tweens and teens and their parents. I also work with young adults, help them with interview coaching. I help them with transitioning their journey from college to corporate. So everywhere there's transition, there's me. Yeah. I have worked in the corporate space for 10 years in HR training operations. And I have 10 years of experience in coaching, 2 years of study, and 8 years of coaching I have done. I began my coaching journey by working in colleges, corporates, and conducting various workshops. And then it is then that I added working with tweens, teens to my, coaching paraphernalia of coaching. So I have coached over 1,000 individuals through one-on-one coaching and group coaching workshops. In fact, during COVID, I was running lots of workshops on freedom from anxiety, panic, where I was doing daily exercises with people who had enrolled into my program. I was also running programs called Powerful Mornings, Powerful Life. I run workshops where I help people create powerful vision boards, not the cut-paste vision boards, but the powerful vision boards from the space of who they are. So there are various topics that I take when I run my workshops. That's my family. My husband is a director with Entity Data, and my son is a 16-year-old. He's going to be 16 in December. My best friend, my best buddy. And that's about my family. So now, my reason to be working with tweens and teens, and why am I in this coaching space when everyone wants to work with corporates and adults, is that when I was working with adults, and I still am, working with adults, I saw that a lot of who we are today is decided in how we are raised as children. So I saw that, when people do not have high self-worth and belief in themselves, they are not able to apply their potential. There are children who are brilliant. There are individuals, adults who are brilliant, very, very competent, very, very capable. But because of lack of confidence or because of lack of self-belief in themselves, they are not able to be or perform to their complete ability. Yeah. And therefore, I decided that I will work with the younger generation so that I can help them shape right belief systems, right conditioning right now, so that they don't have to go to a therapist or a counselor later. Yeah. So I'm on a mission to help 100,000 parents to experience peace and joy while raising high performing individuals. And I'm on a mission to empower 100,000 teenagers to step out of their fear, limitations, and step into their power and possibility. Yeah. Because when we have more and more people that are secure, that believe in collaboration, I think we will have a wonderful world to live in. And I want to contribute to that. Yeah. So parents tell me, are there times that you fear that, the world is changing so much? Or am I raising a child that will not fall into bad company? Am I raising a child that will not fall into bad habits? Am I raising a child that will not have any toxic relationships in the future? Our school systems, our education systems don't take care of that. In fact, we as parents have also not been equipped with tools to take care of that. What we have is just fear, big fear of what if this happens, what if that happens. So how do we take care of those things? Yeah. And when we are in that fear, what kind of parent do we become? So I address that in my programs that when I work with parents. And you can, through your chat or thumbs up, tell me if you do worry about these things for your child. Times are changing. We have artificial intelligence. We have a lot of other dynamic changes in professions. So are we raising a child that will be able to live up to live up to that dynamism? You know, will he be able to take up that challenge and change himself in the whenever the time requires? So I want you to answer those questions and in your head right now, if you want to also respond to me on the chat box, that will be great. And then in the course of my programs, I'll answer that. So, three mistakes that I was talking about in my advertisement and in my poster that we make is that a lot of us think that punishment is the only way to correct bad behavior. Sometimes, even when we know that punishment is not the only way to correct the bad behavior, we still have been raised like that, thinking that punishment is the way, is the only way. Do you think, uh, some of us feel that punishment is the only way to correct bad behavior? According to psychologists, researchers, studies, punishment is not the best way to correct bad behavior. It is in short term because out of fear, your child might change himself. But what really happens is that your child is not learning any lessons. Punishment might change the behavior temporarily, but it does not teach anything. And it teaches one thing to the child, that he can get his work done through force. Also, for the first initial 12, 13 years, they might change their behavior through punishment. But after that, they might start showing that same kind of behavior with people that they can bully, they can control, and they feel that this is the right way to get work done. Let's accept that our children spend 16, 17 years with us, listening to us, and then rest of the child's age is about adulthood, about dealing with people, dealing with professional life, dealing with relationships, dealing with bosses. So what we are doing in these first 16, 17 years is that modeling for the child the right behavior, the right belief systems, the right way to conduct ourselves so that we can experience great connection relationships, great professional life. And punishment is not one of the ways that will help a child become somebody who will grow up to be a good leader that is looked upon, or someone who can have or share a relationship where there is love and connection. And those things are what children eventually do. So, punishment also takes away a child's motivation, the inner motivation, the inner radar to do something on their own. So, a very important quote that says, children are not things to be molded, but people to be unfolded. Uh, we do not have to worry about constantly telling our child to be this, that. We have to be also an observer and see what they are becoming. Be in that space of curiosity, eagerness. Yeah. And when we are ready to be eager and curious and see them, we will be surprised by their potential. Second mistake that people make is that we think that aggressive behavior in children is a sign of disrespect and should be corrected immediately. Do we think that? I think a lot of people think that. Even I used to think that until I learned about this in psychology, that aggressive behavior, one sign of disrespect that my child is showing, and oh my God, he's spoiled, he's gone. And now he'll be repeating that behavior. But really, what aggressive behavior is it is how a child is feeling in that moment. Now, tell me honestly, do you ever feel angry? Do you ever feel like yelling at someone when your space is encroached upon, when you feel that you are uh, not being valued, not being respected? Don't we all want to be aggressive at times when we feel anger? Similarly, the children also feel anger, and when they feel angry, they want to act it out in a certain way. All of us do. Every human being does. So aggressive behavior is not a sign of disrespect, but it is definitely a sign that our child is going through something. And he is telling us that I'm not feeling okay. And then he cannot say that I'm not feeling okay and I'm going through this and I've been bullied, or I am having a hard time at school, or I'm having a hard time with friends. And therefore, these behaviors are coming out. Our children do not have that emotional vocabulary. And that is why it's the behavior that comes out, right? And what is the right way to correct that behavior? That is something that I will teach you in my course. And how to handle aggression. What is it that we can do? Yeah. So our children need our love the most when they deserve it the least. So when we think that children will be fixed by punishment or by scolding them, actually you will see that it does not help. It only makes it worse. In fact, what they need is love. What they need is our presence. What they need is our friendship and understanding. They need to be felt understood. Yeah. So, the third thing that I want to share with you is parenting mistake, which we feel that appreciation can spoil a child. Hmm. Uh, I'm not talking about appreciation here where we are constantly telling the child, oh my God, you brush so well. Oh my God, you drink water so amazingly. Not that, like not the fake appreciation. But what I'm talking about here is that genuinely um, becoming curious about our child and identifying what they're doing right. Yeah. To understand uh, the human brain always is wired to look at mistakes and is wired to look at what is missing. Yeah. That is what our brain spots first. But if we have to look at what is right, what is correct, what is going good, then we have to make an effort. And that is true for every relationship, not just parent child, every relationship. Mm. And that is why when we become open to observing our children and not just looking for their mistakes, but identifying what we can appreciate in them and genuinely talk about that to them, then our relationship grows and our children develop high self-worth. So I would also want you guys to think that how is your inner voice like? Whenever you are in a situation, a challenging situation, what kind of thoughts come to your mind? Is it positive? Is it negative? Whenever you are in a situation where you're being judged, where you're being examined, where you're being, where you have to grow to the next level, what comes to your mind? Is it positive? Is it negative? Yeah. For most people, it is negative. For most people that I have worked with, it is negative. Because sometimes we are conditioned by our society to be negative, to only look at things that are missing, that are not right, that are not correct. And what that does is that it makes a child constantly question their self worth. And if you remember in the beginning of the presentation, I had shared that there are people that I work with that I can see their potential, I can see their competence, I can see their abilities, but their self worth is so low because how they are conditioned by society that they are not able to perform up to their self worth. And it is only after session after session, workshop after workshop, that they are able to remove that layer of conditioning and then bring out their potential. Yeah. So I feel that, why should we have our children go through that when they grow up? Why can't we as parents give them that kind of upbringing, that kind of belief system, that kind of conditioning that they never undervalue their potential? Another thing is that when we appreciate and acknowledge our children, or whenever we are appreciated, we release a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone that makes us feel centered and grounded. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel valued and loved. And when we feel safe, valued, and loved, we perform at our best. Yeah. So when our child feels unsafe, unvalued, unheard, they release a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that causes stress. So if you are, or someone in your environment is somebody who gets triggered very easily, you don't have to do much to get them angry. It means they have very high cortisol levels. And it also means that they have been raised in an environment where they felt unsafe and stressed most of the times. So try and create a safe environment for your child where they constantly feel where they're releasing more oxytocin. Yeah. So that when they grow up, they can foster such relationships and feel safe at all times. They don't need any outside relationship to make them feel safe. So you must have seen people who are constantly looking for validation, constantly looking for people to make them feel valued. It is also about childhood. It is also somewhere that child that they were not made to feel safe and valued and loved. And that is why they're looking for that outside in relationships. And we, as parents now, in the 16 years of our child's life, can be that presence for our children. So let's give our children roots of emotionally whole upbringing so that they can grow wings of confidence to fly limitlessly. Yeah. So those little daily choices we make to hug our child, to say something nice to them, very genuinely, you know, when we wake them up first, to say something nice to them rather than just shaking them up to wake up and say that, oh my God, you're every day late. Those little choices can make a big difference in how safe and loved and valued your child grows up to be. So, in this slide, I want to talk about how, as parents, we are constantly meeting the demands of our people around us. We are not just parents, we are also professionals. We are also sister, brother. We are also people who are, have to take care of the household chores. We have to take care of so many things. Yeah. In that, sometimes we are so out of energy that we are not left with any energy to be with our children. Yeah. And that can cause a major disconnect between a parent child. So then, how do we take care of our children and meet demands, all other demands that are imposed on us? What can we, how can we take care of that? So for that, I will talk about in the coming slides. Before that, I just want you to take, I just want to take you guys through my slides of some of the sessions that I have taken with children and parents. And these are testimonials that I've received from some kids and their parents. And on the right, if you see, you will that there is a child who got 88% in her midterms. And this was a child who was constantly scoring below 60. I was coaching her for confidence issues. And when we started working on all the issues that were causing her to lose confidence, she automatically started to perform well academically. Yeah. There is also testimonial from a child who was appearing for his IIT JEE exams, or he was going through the IIT JEE training. And that training made him compare himself with other kids a lot. And in that, he lost his confidence, his self worth went really, really down. So much so that he started to doubt whether he will be able to amount to what he wants to. But he took sessions really well and he did all his coaching assignments really well. And today he's an engineering student with one of the most prestigious colleges in India and a confident person. The other testimonial I have with here is of an eighth grader who was living in a very uncomfortable environment. Her parents really loved her, but there was still some sort of negativity in the house that none of them was able to identify, which was causing a lot of emotional problems between all of them. And sessions again gave all of them a direction as to what needed to change and what they needed to do to be able to create a happy environment where their child can grow and foster. Yeah. Then these are other testimonials from some parents that I had coached. And one is from a parent whose child had started to take alcohol and drugs and was had fallen into bad company. And here, I think within 6 months of us working together, the child started to show signs of changes through my program, CAP methodology that I will talk about in my future slides. So, parents, I would want you to ponder this and tell me that when your child is 25, 27, what kind of relationship do you visualize with them? Do you think that how your relationship is now with your child and how you are, raising your child consciously and mindfully has an impact on who he becomes and the relationship they share with you? Yeah. So how do we, like in the initial bit I shared with you that um, I will talk about how to raise children with high self-worth. One is that how, the three mistakes that I spoke about. And the other is through my program called CAP methodology of parenting. So in my 8 years of working with both adults, individuals, as well as parents, I realized that there were people who had to work with me for a year, for 6 months, for 8 months, and then create an impact in their relationship on their child through that work. So what I did was I tried to go back to my notes and understand that what is it that's working for parents. I try to research and understand, and then I created a 4 weeks program for parents uh, that included everything that worked for parents that worked with me for 6 months and a year, so that now the parents that enroll with me do not have to work for so long, and they can create that same impact in 4 weeks and then can come back to me for check-in sessions and one-on-ones as and when the need arises. But most parents don't need to come back. If they are able to enroll and go through this course, they are able to create a good impact in their child. So how do we create a relationship where we are 100% future proofing our child from bad company, from bad addictions? Also, creating a relationship where we can influence our child into doing the right thing, and also creating a child that has strong self belief and strong self worth. So, in the first week, I talk about awareness. In the second week, I talk about action that we take. Third week, we start seeing influence, on the child. And in the fourth week, we start seeing impact on the child. And how do we create that kind of impact? Sometimes all these things will not come together. It might take time to come. But if you are applying whatever you learn in 4 weeks, the impact will start to come, right? So, are you fully committed to raising a high performing individual? Are you coachable? If you are coachable, then I can take you through 4 sessions of group coaching sessions and one-on-one coaching sessions if required. And we can together, work to help you raise a very secure, high-performing, confident, focused individual. What else would you get from the CAP methodology of coaching that I do with parents is that one is that you will know how to create a loving bond with your child. You will know how to communicate so they listen. You will learn how to manage the stubborn behavior in children, anger issues, aggressive behavior, and how to support them when they're facing academic challenges, how to support them when they're facing peer pressure, how to support them through bullying. So I also have brain-based coaching that I take children through in my coaching programs, but that I am, not going to share here. That will come in a different video. But if you do want to know about it, you can always reach out to me. Messages, if they have been of any value to you, then my job is done.